Take charge of your thoughts. Take charge of your life. Psychologist, author, speaker, musician, former professor, and the host of Love and Life, Dr. Karen Anderson Averill. Welcome to Love and Life. I'm Dr. Karen Anderson Averill. Part 3 and the final segment of my interview with dating guru and Instagram sensation, the Fairy Godfather, is up next. So if you haven't had the chance to check out segments 1 and 2, jump back to episode 49, How the Fairy Godfather Helps You Navigate Dating in the New Millennium. You'll hear how the Fairy Godfather got his name and got his start, and how this became his passion and purpose in life. You'll find out what separates TFG from all the other dating experts out there. And you'll learn what your neurotransmitters are doing when you're texting a guy you've just met, and how to make sure you're using this knowledge to text smarter, not harder. Then check out part 2 of our conversation. It's episode 51. Here, TFG answers the age-old question: is it okay to ask a guy if he's looking for a serious relationship? Find out from the male point of view. Also, TFG gets into the notion of breadcrumbing and how it's different for men and women. And he warns us to avoid wallowing in textationships and teaches us how to protect ourselves from love bombing. He also shares why sometimes actions don't speak louder than words. So check out that episode and then join us here for the final segment of the interview. Hey, Black coffee drinkers, Love and Life's sponsor, Drink Now, is about to change your world. I'm a black coffee drinker, and so I know what you've been going through. You're burning your tongue, you're scalding your mouth, you're having to wait 40 minutes before you can even take a sip of your black coffee. By the time your coffee is cooled down enough that you could drink it, your muffin or your donut is already long gone. I know. I can't wait to eat that donut either. But now there's a solution. The Drink Now Perfector takes scalding hot coffee down to a drinkable 140 degrees in just 20 seconds without watering your coffee down. Learn more about Drink Now at drinknow.com and on Instagram at _drink_now_. One of the things that I've noticed, and I didn't really realize this until I started kind of getting into the space a little bit more, which, when I published my book and I wanted to promote it, so I started doing a little bit more of a deep dive into this dating relationship realm. I didn't know that there were so many men who were out there positioning themselves as dating experts for men. And if you look at what their teachings are all about, it's pretty much the art of manipulation.
Yeah. I follow a few of these guys on, and I've followed them for decades. You remember there was Neil Strauss. He did a book called The Game many, many years ago. I bought that book. He teaches how to manipulate women. So you'd find a woman who had low self-esteem, and you'd sort of give her a compliment, but a backhanded compliment. So you might say she had nice hair, but her dress doesn't look so nice. You know what I mean? So you start picking them up and sort of putting them down at the same time. I never used these techniques. I was always too drunk when I was going for a long time to remember any shit like that. But I read the book. I say I don't really read books. I sort of skim through them. But, I sort of get the gist of it, and you read the key points. And this is what they were saying. This is how these pickup artists work. Now, fast forward 20 years, and you've got guys on YouTube, a guy called Alpha Male Strategies. Now, you want to check this guy out. Fucking hell. He's got the gift of the gab, and he makes me laugh sometimes, because of the way he speaks to the other guy.
Yeah.
He always speaks about women in such a derogatory way. But I tell the women, I say, watch this guy and learn from him. What I do is, all the advice I give counteracts their advice. So if everybody follows my advice, it counteracts his advice. So, and that's the same with a guy called Corey Wayne as well. He's an American. He's from the South. He's got a huge following on YouTube. And he's not as bad as Alpha Male Strategies, but he does give tips that involve, he tells guys to take women out for a meal on the first date because there's more chance of having sex afterwards. So that straight away pisses me off, and why I bring in the coffee 1 hour first date. So this is why I give that advice to women now. And it counteracts what alpha male strategies and Corey Wayne and other men who give this advice to men say, counteracts it. So if they follow my advice, they'll avoid it.
Well, and that's why I like that you also do your self-care Sunday or self-worth Sunday.
2 years now, over 2 years.
Yeah, because if women are building into themselves while they're single, then if some guy comes at them with a compliment, but then the backhanded compliment is in conjunction with it, they're going to start to sniff that out. And they're going to look at him and go, what was that about? It's not going to sit right with them. And if they're needy and just want any kind of attention, then they'll take it. Even if it's laden with this not so nice comment, they'll take it because they're hungry for the compliment. As women start to build themselves up, and I see the comments. I mean, women are giving you so many accolades and saying that, you've helped me lose this joker. He's out of my life. I blocked him. And not only that, but I know a woman today, I loved it. She said something. She said, I know I'm a woman, a high value woman, so I'm not taking this. And I thought, they're using your terminology, TFG.
Yeah, the self-worth Sunday that was just something that come about a few years ago now. But yeah, the comments are great, and that's part of what keeps me going.
It's not just direct dating advice per se. It's also kind of a philosophy for living, building into yourself that will then obviously play out in a more successful and manageable dating life. So even when it's not successful, you'll be able to take it a little bit easier. The women are able to kind of bounce back quicker because they haven't had any expectations, or they're not letting that rejection affect them so much that they think that they're not worth anything because they've been spending time on Self-Worth Sunday and they know they're a woman of high value. So you just have a lot of really great energy for women to step into. And I mean, you are appropriately named the Fairy Godfather. And I know they give you so many. What are some of your favorite success stories, though? Some of the ones that the DMs that really warm your heart.
I get those daily now, but the best ones are those where I get women out of a relationship, a toxic relationship. I spoke to a woman 60 months ago, and she'd been in an abusive relationship for over a decade. And she sent me a message. She says, I've driven for 16 hours to get to my mother's house. And something like that, that's why you do it. And you get a few of those.
Yeah. And,
that's what keeps you going. You've also got the odd wedding as well. I throw the odd wedding here and there. I had a follower, she followed me for a couple of years, and she says, she got married, and when you get a little bit of credit for that as well, that's great. That especially when you still in contact. I mean, some women, they'll follow, take the advice, and as soon as they get a guy, they'll get rid of me because they don't want to be seen. It could be a sort of stigma to have a Fairy Godfather. Trying to explain it to the new guy. Oh, look at this guy. He's a Fairy Godfather. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Also, that could be a threat to new men coming on. They might see it as being problematic. So a lot of women unfollow as soon as they get locked into a long-term relationship. And I don't blame them. It's up to them. And they always know they can come back. But some of them do, sadly.
I was going to say, they might have to come on back at some point. Depending.
Like I said, I don't mind either way. Yeah. Sometimes if I actually speak to some women, I might speak to them privately and give them advice for, like I said, over 2 years, and then they'll just disappear. And then I'm like, before I used to send them a message, is everything okay? And they're like, oh yeah, I've sort of learned that. I feel like I've learned everything I need to know. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. But they're like, oh, how did you know? Because I think they expect to sneak out of the back door without actually me realising. But I get a fucking app. And on the app, it tells me who's followed, who's not followed.
Yeah.
I know everything just by this app. It even tells me how many people have liked. So now if I get women on DMing me, I want to know how much of my time I give to them. So if they've not liked any of my, if they've been following for a year, and they've only liked one post, and they're asking me questions that could be answered by previous posts, within, say, the last couple of months, then I'm not really that happy because they're sort of taking the piss. They should be, reading the post and not expecting me to spoon feed it. I'm giving it for free. So yeah, that's why the app is good for things like that.
Well, it's like the kid who wants the teacher to explain all the material, but the material was explained fully in the homework, but the kid didn't read the homework.
Yeah, you just have to. It gets a lot
they just want to hear it.
In the first year, I could manage that. I could micromanage. I could speak to everyone. But when you go from 10,000 to 20 to 30 to 40, you still got these women you've been speaking to for 2 years and giving them advice for 2 years, but they still want the advice. Now I'm saying, well, I can't do it. Yeah. If you can ask me a question in, say, 10, 20 words, then sure, I'll give you an answer. You might not like it, but you'll get the answer. But if you want to write me a book, like War and Peace, then I ain't got time for that, you know what I mean? And that will be referred to the fabulous friends on Facebook. But, it's just about, some of them, they'll just send a message and there won't be a, hey, how are you? I'm such and such. Nice to meet you. How are you? But with none of that, it would just be question, and straight away this fucking, big thread of their life. But there's no consideration of the person behind it all there. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not actually a fairy. I'm a human being with feelings, So, I think it is easy to sort of forget that, when it is just on a platform and you don't see the actual real person in front of it.
Yeah, and it's in this age of accessibility, which is great because you're able to have this personal connection with your followers, but also because they can just DM you, they might not take the time to comb through the resources that you have available to them, which are many, 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 many posts that delve into the answer to their question is in those posts. And it's explained very well thought out. You've taken time to put that post together. And so your best advice for them is actually in the post, but they're like, no, I don't want to read the post. I want you to tell me.
The problem most of the time is the fact that they've maybe missed the post or not read the post, and then they have caused problems by not following the advice. Do you know what I mean? So they'll be like, okay, well, we did this, we did that. And I'll be like, okay, did you have coffee for the first day? They're like, no. I'm like, okay, well, you should have done it. Have you been texting back and forth? Yeah, straight away, back and forth. And then you shouldn't be doing that either. So there's so many things that, and I just in the end say, listen, you've done so many things wrong that I don't feel like I can advise you. Do you know what I mean? But if you go back and you want the advice, I can sort of point you in the right direction. But where you are right now is it's just too much of a mess to sort of understand, because I have quote unquote rules in place and tips to follow. Right. Where I can say, okay, well, if you've done that and you've done that, then it hasn't worked, and it's because of this. So you fault find it, and you know exactly where it's going wrong. But if people mess up the route and don't follow the advice, and I have no idea what's going on. So it's always best to follow the advice, and I'm proactive with the research and with the learning of it. Like some women will say, oh, well, I'm not dating right now, so I don't need to know. Well, guess what? If I throw you in the deep end of the swimming pool, you'll want to fucking learn how to swim first. You know what I mean? So it's all about learning how to do it first, and especially if you've been in a relationship for, say, 20 years and you're just becoming single now, then you're fucking clueless, because it's changed so much. Everything's changed. If you come out of a long-term relationship, it's always best to just have a good 6 months, 8 months on your own, learn all about the dating world, take all the advice on board, grow yourself, work, confidence, grow fucking thick skin as well, because you're going to need one, all these things that you need to take on board. Yeah. Get it all sorted out before you start dating. Don't just go straight into it, like a lamb to the slaughter, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure it's frustrating, especially with those who have been following you for a while, and then they come to you and they haven't been following your advice. They're following it, they're reading the post, but they're not actually implementing it into their strategy and into their dating practice. And
I think they can maybe pick and choose the advice. Okay, so they'll maybe have a coffee for the first day, but then they'll have another date within that week. Whereas I say, make sure I have one date a week, date more than one man at a time if possible. So, but they'll maybe like put 3 dates in 1 week. And I've done that before, but I only did it for sex. You know what I mean? Remember back in the day, there used to be a little rule, you know, don't have sex with a man until you have 3 dates with him. Well, I was always one step ahead of that. I had 3 dates in a week. We had sex that's in the same week. And she was okay with that because she followed the social rules, you know. So yeah, have 1 date a week for the first month at least. And that also stops, you know, people getting carried away.
Yeah, and it provides some pacing to the relationship and some natural progression, which is helpful for everyone. It just allows this time and the space to process, to experience. And, you know, like you were saying, like some women, if they would go 3 dates and they could be like, okay, well, I waited till the 3rd date to have sex with him. And you're like, listen, I'm just trying to get through those 3 dates so that I can get what I want. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean I'm sticking around. You know, they're hoping it means something. It doesn't. You were just trying to, let's hurry up and get those 3 dates so I can get what I want. And that's why you're so honest and candid about that, that it's helpful for women to see that.
Just going back to what we were talking about, you know, a lot of the guys who are giving advice and doing something similar to me, they're actually like, you know, 6, 7, 8 years younger than me. So they never actually dated before the internet. They have no fucking idea what it's like to make that transition. You tried dating in 1998 or 1999 or, you know, 2000. You was having to go out into bars, trawl the bars, looking for a woman into the clubs. What the fuck about? You know, and then you do that for 10 years, and you sort of see what power women have, and then all of a sudden, internet dating comes along, and you're like, okay, the playing field is leveled off.
Well, it's an interesting theory that with Tinder in particular and online, that it kind of leveled the playing field in a way, though, that women started giving up their power.
Internet dating, for me personally, was 2007. I didn't start Tinder dating until 2012. There was 5 years where the level playing field was about the same, and it was okay. But then Tinder come along, and it was just like it was like fishing with dynamite. You know, everyone was catching, but there was nothing worth catching. So that was the difference.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, everyone becomes abundant, and then you need to sort of like beat somebody's community. Everyone's got competition. So yeah, people are maybe giving what's not being earned and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and we hear that. They do feel that there's so much abundance that everyone's disposable. So they don't feel that even a nice date feels like it may go anywhere, because someone can go home, even if they've had this great connection, but they can go home and go, well, she was cute and nice and funny, but I can probably find someone cuter, nicer, and funnier in 5 swipes.
Yeah, so
it's frustrating. People feel devalued. They don't feel seen. No one feels like they're even connecting because everyone's mind is kind of elsewhere. Yeah.
Using the dopamine, the scarcity principle. So let it build up in the brain. Don't just go straight away. So it's reward driven, but it's also more about anticipation. Remember, I said anticipation is key to the dopamine build up. So if you become abundant, then you also take away anticipation. Anticipation is key to the dopamine building up. So once you become abundant, then the dopamine is sought elsewhere. That hit for the dopamine is sought elsewhere, usually from another woman. So this is why I say to always pace the reply and make sure it's not straight away. And I've actually experienced this a few times myself. I've gone into text-a-thons where you just text, back and forth. And then I'm just like, I'm bored of that. And that's it, I'm just bored of that. And, you know, people say, what do you mean you're bored?
Yeah.
How can you be bored of that? You just are, because that's just how you feel. You know what I mean? It's when you become abundant, it's almost like they're no longer elusive. When there's no anticipation, the chase is over. So this is why women should always be elusive. And only when a man gets into a serious relationship, committed relationship, will that stop. The chase will slow down. So what happens is when he gets into a long-term relationship, he has a drop in testosterone. Studies were done on that with Harvard University. People with Don Massler or someone I was spoke about it. When we have a drop in testosterone, when you have that drop in testosterone, that allows the oxytocin to build. Because before then, the testosterone blocks the oxytocin in the brain during sex. So when women are getting all in love from having sex a few times, a man is just like, I'm not. And that's because the testosterone blocks it. But when he gets into a long-term relationship, he has a drop in testosterone. And that's when that gives the oxytocin a chance to grow. And that's when it falls in love.
If men hear that they have a drop in testosterone when they get into a long-term relationship, we will never get boyfriends, TFG.
I know. Well, I don't know how many followers do you get on men? This is what we need to know. Hopefully this will be really far on into the podcast, The guys have
right,
turned
let's
off
hope they have.
Yeah, the guys have turned off. But imagine if a guy knew everything that I posted about. Imagine what sort of damage you could cause just by knowing what to say, when to say it. Especially if you read up about what we spoke about, our post we did on the recapitulation of family of origin.
Right.
Remember that? If he knew about that, then he could find out about her childhood and use that against it. So if maybe she was abandoned as a child or wasn't loved as much as she wanted to, if he found that out, then he could use that and he could sort of like manipulate her by saying, right, well, I'm not going to give her that much attention because I know she sees that as being familiar rather than what's right for her. So do you know what I mean? So the advice I give is only good for women.
This quarter, Love and Life lends a hand to 11th Candle Company. All proceeds from the sale of my book, Single is the New Black, Don't Wear White Till It's Right, will go to 11th Candle Company's Legacy Foundation. To hear more about the incredible work Amber Runyon is doing to help women escape sex trafficking, please take a listen to my podcast interview with her. It's episode 42, How Does a Candle Company Combat Human Trafficking? 11th Candle Company. Check them out at 11thcandleco.com and be sure to use promo code TAKECHARGE to receive 20% off your entire purchase. So you have in many of your posts it looks almost like a little entry from a dictionary. They're dating definitions, and they're terms that a lot of us know, but then there's some that seem to be almost an extension of the common term. Like ghosting would be one that everyone's talking about. But then you've got a term for zombieing, which is kind of next level ghosting. So talk a little bit about how those came to be.
Okay, well, if you look at all the problems we have in the world, people are labeled, it helps people to get help or to identify things. So what I realised is that if someone was, say, being ghosted, then we can identify that and give it a word, and then it can be maybe not avoided but dealt with. Mm-hmm. Same with haunting, breadcrumbing, zombieing, all these other different types of things. Women are actually, even now, are seeing these definitions and saying, wow, I've been breadcrumbed. Mm-hmm. So they're sort of seeing and realising that it's not acceptable for a man just to send a message every 3 days. Well, if nobody tells you that it's not acceptable, then how do you know? You might think, oh, well, maybe I'm being needy if I want a message every day. But you're not being needy if you want a message every day. You know what I mean? So it's about saying what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. Like even the word fuckboy, although the origins of it comes from, I think there was a rapper who used it originally, and it's a different terminology, a different definition. But although I don't take credit for inventing it, I give credit to original origins in both my posts. But what it does do is it helps us realise what these people are. So, for example, a fuckboy would be a man who manipulates a woman or lies to a woman or is vague about his intentions to get a woman into bed. So that's a fuckboy. Although, I didn't invent any of them. But what I did do is I added my own sense of humour to them, and I put them into like so they look like excerpts from a dictionary. So, for example, with the haunting one, we would it's a noun.
Right.
They will say, when a boy reappears out of the fucking blue but doesn't communicate with you, he just views and likes your social media content like the creepy little fuck he is. That was the whole idea. And there's about 12 or 13 that I've got together.
Well, as much as we live in an age where people want to have freedom and we want to throw out all the old rules and no one wants to say that men should behave this way and women should behave that way, you're bringing a little bit of structure to this very nebulous world of dating. Like you said, so someone can go, no, I'm not needy. This makes sense. It is reasonable for me to expect a daily check-in if we've been dating for such and such amount of time. You're providing, and then the terms, the definitions. This is what this is. And I think it's kind of cute that you put it in the dictionary format because again, that harkens back to what we felt as kids. Like we're students and this is the way it is. This is a definition. This has meaning. This has validity. And if you follow some of these terms and start to understand them and get what's going on, you can really be better prepared to deal with what you might face as you're in this dating space.
Yeah, and I think if I try and add a little bit of humour to it, and someone gets it, then if I try, then people remember that, and it sinks in a lot better. I find anyway. And like I say, it's not such a lecture.
Right.
I'm not lecturing people. If I can make them laugh, right. Like some women in the comments, some of them will say, "I felt this." Others might say, just laughter emojis. Because they're feeling it in different times of their lives. Mm-hmm. Some have maybe already experienced it 10 years ago, so they find it funny. Someone might be feeling it right at that very moment in time, but they might have, a sad comment. So it's all about just different times. And this goes on back to what I was talking about the other day to someone in the Facebook group. There was women there, they were acting like they were born wise, whereas they wasn't. They learned. Whether it be from their caregivers, whether it be from their friends or their ex-boyfriends, they've learned from someone. Whatever, I just think everyone's at a different path, along a timeline. So if you're laughing at the woman because she's been ghosted or the fact she's chasing a guy when she shouldn't be, then you're a bit of a dickhead because there will have been a time in life when you will have done exactly the same thing had you not been taught something. Some people have really good upbringings. And, especially if you come from an environment where it's masculine, so you're learning from a father, if he's like the head teacher, then he'll teach you everything. So it'll be almost like me teaching, because you're getting everything that you need to know from a man. Right. So I speak to a lot of women who's maybe if their father was the only parent, and they'll probably know everything that we're talking about because their father would have told them. So it's all about just different timelines. And nobody's stupid, common sense and intelligence, doesn't factor in manipulation and lies. That's no quote of mine now where I say that because the smartest people in the world can be manipulated. Yep. And we only have to look at the scam artists that go on, the scams that go on in this world, and the smartest people in the world are scammed.
Well, and I think it's great because you are helping people, like you say. It's not about, hey, we've all fallen for these kinds of scams. Like you said, we've all been that person who got taken advantage of in one way, shape, or form in dating and in other realms of life. I'm glad to see that some other people in the dating space are glomming onto your terms because they're showing up in different podcasts. I know you posted something today that some women were starting to talk about your terms and just share them so that people can A, enjoy them because they're funny, but B, also learn from them.
Yeah, it's real weird that as well because the words have been out there for ages. I just think it's the way that they've been put together. Yeah. So like you said, they're like the dictionary excerpts. So I think it's 3 podcasts now in the last couple of weeks that have been mentioned. So that's great. That being able to get a shout out like that.
Let's connect on social. I'm most active on Instagram at Dr. Karen. That's Dr.Karin. On Twitter, I'm at Dr. Karen Anderson. Live tweet with me when I watch my favorite shows, Will and Grace, my brand new fave, God Friended Me, and of course, all shows Bachelor Nation. Join me on Facebook where I'm stepping up my Facebook Live game. I'm at Dr. Karen Anderson Abril. So TFG, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
We've got so much great material. We're going to probably chop this up into a couple different podcast episodes because you're really providing, it's just really neat to hear everything that you say, but just to hear it. And I think that listeners will receive it and they'll learn from it in a little bit different way through the podcast format. So thanks again for coming on. And
my pleasure.
Thank you. And just to kind of wrap things up, when you think about what you've been doing now for 3 years, you said you started in February of 2016. So we're coming up on your 3-year anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. When you think about all that you've put in, I mean, this is not 24 hours a day, but I know you don't sleep a lot. So this is a lot of time, energy, and your heart that you're giving women. When you look back on these 3 years and kind of look ahead, what is kind of your mission? How do you make sense of it? And what's the point of it all? And what are the things that keep you going?
Great question. Well, every day, I receive the feel good factor. That's the best kind of happiness to achieve as well. If you can get a feel good factor and get that every day as well, then, that's better than anything. I read a book. I say I read a book. Remember, I don't read books, but I read excerpts from a book called Happy by a man called Darren Brown. And he pointed this out, that happiness best comes from giving and helping others, and that lasts longer. So that's one of the reasons why I keep it going. Yeah. I'm doing something worthwhile as well, and if you can help people, then I believe you have a moral obligation to do so. So, it's like if somebody says to you, can you help me do this? And you're like, and you realize that can make somebody's life better. Sometimes you think it's fucking life changing, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So knowing you have that, or you can help someone in that sort of way, then that's a great reason to do it. But it also gives me a purpose in life as well. Before I started doing this, I was just fucking, going on vacations here and there. There's no real purpose with life. And don't get me wrong as well. I think I'd be alive if I said I didn't like the attention as well. Because we're all human. We all like to be told that we're doing good and that we're a good person. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, of course there's that as well. I think if everybody was like sort of taking without gratitude, then I probably wouldn't do it. Unless they were paying me lots of money. Do you know what I mean? But they're not. So it's that's what keeps me going.
Well, yeah. And back to the attention part, you have created a reality for yourself where you're the only dude with 40,000 women.
I know.
That's a pretty good gig you got for yourself there.
It's a little bit about the numbers, don't get me wrong, because you want to get the message out there.
Yeah, right.
Let's be real here. We all like a little bit of attention. We all like to be appreciated.
Yeah.
And, if we've got a message to get out there, then we like it to get out to as many people as possible. So yeah, there's many reasons why I continue doing it and why I enjoy doing it. So I don't know. I've not had a day off in 3 years now. So even Christmas Day, I'll be there. But like I say, if you enjoy it, then it's not a sacrifice. It's not the same as giving up bread so that you can lose that extra 2% body fat. Do you know what I mean? It's not a sacrifice.
Well, and it's pretty remarkable, really, because it really has become your life. It's wonderful that you enjoy it so much. And it is also wonderful that you do, as we've been talking about, you do get those DMs. You do get that really tangible reinforcement that what you're doing is changing lives. And that's not an overstatement to say that. You're changing lives. You're helping people get themselves sorted out, feel better about themselves, know what they're worth, know that they're a high value woman so that then they can present themselves as a high value woman and then attract high value men. And not to even, let's go back to the beginning of this podcast where you shared that the whole inspiration for this was that a woman was getting ready to take her life. And so it's powerful stuff. And that's why it's been such an honor for me to partner with you and to collab and then to have the opportunity to share you and what you're about on the podcast. And it is, I know it's not about the numbers, but at the same time, it is a little bit because like you said,
it's a little bit.
Because it has to be, because you believe in what you're doing. And when you believe in what you're doing, you want those who need to hear that word. You want them to get that word.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit more than numbers. So. Don't get me wrong. Like I say, if I went from 40,000 to say 2,000, then I'd be upset a little bit. You know what I mean?
So a couple months ago, we asked your followers what they would like you to talk about and what they'd like us to address. So I'm going to have to ask you to come back, TFG, and we can look through some of those questions and give your answers to.
Listen, I can't fucking wait, because I saw some of them questions and they could have been answered very much by my posts. A lot of people haven't been reading my fucking work. So they've been asking these questions, and I'm like, wait a minute, I was talking about this yesterday. So these people who are asking questions, I won't be naming and shaming, but they'll certainly know, because I'll read it exactly how it's written. But
right.
I was chomping at the bits to answer those questions. But definitely would like to answer those questions. That's for sure.
Well, we'll look through and see if there are any that we haven't covered or you haven't covered in your posts. And if there are some, then we'll give those to the listeners. Even
if we have been covered, we will go through them again, because like I said, there's always new followers. The women who were asking the questions, I know they fucking follow for years. Now some questions, I'm rolling my eyes.
Right. You're like, I know you, and I know how long you've been around.
Yes,
you know better. Don't be asking this. But, well, thanks again, TFG. It has been a true honor and pleasure, and we'll talk again soon.
And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, as always.
So the love and life hack for this week is, the fairy magic can't work unless you follow the Fairy Godfather's instructions. So dig into his many posts full of great advice from a male perspective. Read the captions entirely and then DM him with questions, but be sure you're paying attention so that you can enjoy all the benefits of the fairy magic. Take charge of your thoughts. Take charge of your life. This is Dr. Karen Anderson Abril. Thanks so much for listening, for subscribing to Love and Life, and for reviewing episodes. I really appreciate it. And until next time, make it a great week.
Love and Life is produced by Tim May and host and executive producer, Dr. Karen Anderson Abril.